Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Nathan, and in behind me here is my 2012 BMW X5 35D, which I've had for quite some time, and it's been a great daily driver overall. However, there is still some things I need to fix on this vehicle, or rather annoyances I need to fix on this vehicle, and that is, and no, it's not the tires. Those are pretty much brand new. I got those a couple months ago. It's actually the brake pads and rotors. Now, they don't look that bad, especially if you just stick my finger in here. They look pretty good, except for there's quite the lip on the rotors. And you can't see on the back wheels either, but same sort of deal. The rotors are really tired looking, and those need to be changed out. And although the brake pads don't look that bad, the rotors are pretty much written off. They have a huge lip on them. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna replace the brake pads and rotors on the X5 here. And because I'm doing the front and the rear, I need to jack up the entire vehicle. So first I'm gonna jack up the front. So that means I got the red chocks in there to hold in the back. With the X5 off the ground, and now we have to take off all the wheels on all four corners, and I'm going to use Old Reliable here. This is a 17 mil socket, by the way, in case you're wondering. That didn't sound good. So this bolt here made a little bit of a weird sound. I think that's because when they put the new tires on, whoever did this may not have done it correctly. All right, you guys kind of get the point. I'm gonna do that for the other three corners of the vehicle, and I'll catch you on this side. With all the wheels removed, I'm gonna show you guys what it's like. So the front driver's side here, the left side, this is the rotor here. And from the front, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, just old, obviously, but you look at all the crustiness in here, and then you have a very, I wouldn't say thick, but there's quite a lip here. I mean, more than enough to catch your finger on. And actually the inside of the rotor is actually twice as bad. Now the pads on either side are not that bad. They still got quite a bit of meat on them. However, it's the rotors that I think are causing my drivability issue, especially under light, moderate braking. I do feel like they're pulsing a little bit, which is a little bit too aggressive for me. Now, I just want to show you guys quickly the rear brakes. Now I think that these rotors were actually replaced at some point. I mean, I could just be thinking that in my head, but they don't look as bad. I mean, there's still a little bit of a lip on them, but it's not nearly as bad as the fronts. And the pads though, they are looking a little bit low, but they're not in the point of where you should replace them immediately, but still, they're a little bit unhappy. Whenever I do any brake job, I always use a little bit of penetrant here on this brake rotor screw right here that just holds it in place. It's not necessary, but it just holds it in place and makes the job a lot easier. So I let that soak for a little bit. So now I'm gonna use one of these hex bits right here. This is a 6 mil. And I'm gonna attach it to my adapter for 1/2 inch. And if there's one tool I recommend that you ever have, especially when you're doing brakes, it's this right here, an impact driver. It'll make your life so much easier. So first thing I do is use one of these screwdrivers here just to hold the rotor in place. And then let's see if we can get it off by hand. Nope. Okay, it's gonna need some persuasion. And there we go. Just like that, it came right off. And there we have it, that's the old retainer clip. So that makes it a lot easier now. It's easier to take this off and not have it spring off and hit you in the face later on. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I actually want to make sure that the rear parking brake isn't on. Now, the X5 here, it's a bit of a weird one because it's still a mechanical parking brake despite the fact that you actually have an electronic parking brake switch right here. And I was very confused by that because I thought to myself, oh, maybe I have to put it into a service position, but there isn't actually. So all you have to do is just make sure that the parking brake isn't on, obviously, so that way you can actually service the rotors and all that stuff. But otherwise, it's just normal replacement. At the back end, there'll be 2 bolts holding into the caliper here, but I'm actually just gonna remove these covers off them first. Now, in order to take the caliper off, you actually have to use a hex bit here, which is a 7 mil, and those fit right in here, just like that. So I need to take off the caliper bracket, which I believe they are E Torx. Yep. So E18. Okay, that's one. And there we have it. The bracket's off. There we go. Look how bad that is. I mean, the fronts, like I said, are a lot worse, but there's still quite a lip on them. All right, here we have the lovely new rotor here, which I'm going to put on now and try my best to align the screw hole. I put the retainer screw in. Again, not necessary, but it's just nice to have. So in my new kit here, I have all new rubber grommets, new brake pad clips, and then of course the actual brake pads themselves. And look how much meat is on those things. Okay, now we're ready to put this back on. So now all I have to do is just torque down the caliper bracket bolts here to 110 Newton meters. Now before I compress any of the calipers on the vehicle, I'm actually going to take off this cover here, which is just some 13 mils. And I'm going to open up the brake fluid reservoir. By opening this cap here on the fluid reservoir, it will allow the fluid to easily come back into the reservoir when the calipers are compressed. To compress the rear caliper, it's a lot easier than most cars. You don't have to actually turn it inwards. It's actually a lot easier than that. You just actually compress it using a regular compressor. Often what I like to do is just use the old brake pad here and compress it like that. Using a tool like this, it makes it a lot easier. And as soon as you feel it just being tight, that's when you're done. And then also what I do is I put a little bit of brake clean on a cloth here. And I just clean the pad just in case if there's any residual. And I'm going to use the 7 mil and then put it in place here in behind. And then the same goes for this other pin. We're going to put a new anti-rattle clip on. It should be interesting to say the least. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And as you can tell, it's nice and tight. It's not moving anywhere, which is good. All I have left to do now is just torque down the caliper pins here. And that's it. And that is for 30 Newton meters. Now that I'm all done on this side, the only difference on the other side of the vehicle, the right-hand side, is that there's a brake pad wear sensor, which I'll show you that process when I get to it. Okay, on this side here, we'll have the brake pad wear sensor, which runs from here all the way up this arm here, and it goes and loops through here and connects into a box hidden behind here. And then inside here, that's where it connects. So first I'm going to go through the process of removing everything like I did on the other side, and then I'll show you guys connecting the new brake pad wear sensor. Okay, the rear right side is all complete here. Got the caliper on, new pads, new clip, and even the new brake pad wear sensor, which just sort of fits into here. Just like that, and feeds all the way through there. That's all been connected. It's not that hard of a job, pretty easy to do. With the rear brakes finished, it's now time to work on the front brakes. And on the left front side here, there's also a brake pad wear sensor, just like that rear right. And it's exactly the same process, so I will just quickly show you what it's like, but it's pretty much identical to all the things I've done so far. As you can see, the front brake pads actually have quite a bit of meat left on them still, which is kind of surprising given how crappy the rotors are. They must have just done a pad slap, honestly. All right, we're gonna use the E18 again on the bracket here to remove those bolts, just like the rear. I didn't want to round this off, so I had to use the drill. Definitely more crusty. Oh, lovely. Well, whatever that's for, it's no longer of use. On to the last piece here.
Many minutes later.
There we go. I honestly never thought it was going to be that much of a struggle. I got the new brake pad wear sensor right here, so I'm actually just going to replace it little by little. Now let's plug this new connector in. And there you go, done. Well, I wrapped up everything with the brakes. Fortunately, it just started downpouring as I finished up everything. And of course, I decided to do an oil change as well, so that didn't help at all. But now I just want to make sure I pump the brakes, because if I don't do that, the car's not going to be brakes. So I'm going to do it right now. And you'll feel it just go to the floor. And there you go, now I have resistance. Awesome. So that's everything here. I'm gonna get the car lowered and then we're gonna take it out for a test drive. After some hard work of replacing the brake pads and rotors on the X5 here, I'm pleased to say that the braking is so much better than it was before. Obviously it wasn't night and day difference, but it was just enough to drive you crazy, at least the way it was before. Like I said, there's that pulsing, but now there's nothing like that. And it wasn't that expensive. I mean, yeah, to do the whole job by myself is a lot cheaper than having a repair shop do it. I mean, the parts themselves shipped to my place was closer to $800, which seems a bit expensive. That includes everything, though. That's the grommets, that's the wear pad sensors, that's the whole kit and caboodle, so I can't complain in that aspect. So if you want to do the brake replacement on your X5, whether it be just the pads and the rotors, it's actually not that bad of a job. And like I said, it didn't take me too long. I'm just obviously taking more time to show you guys some of the steps along the way, but it's not a full-on DIY by any means. I just wanted to at least kind of give you a bit in depth. So if you want to do it yourself, I'd say it's definitely an easy job to do. And on that note, I want to say if you did enjoy today's video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and also consider subscribing so that way you don't miss any future car content like this and also car reviews on my channel. And until next time, take care. Bye now.